Numbers coming out of the Bahamas National Statistical Institute point to strong economic activity in 2024. And according to T. Newbold, the Institute's supervisor for national accounts, behind the growth, a number of industries.
Wholesale retail trade and motor vehicles increased by 206 million. This increase is mainly connected with growth in household consumption. Construction increased by 146 million. This industry increased as capital investment within the country continued to grow, as evidenced by a rise in imports of construction material.
Meantime, information and communication increased by $97 million. Statisticians attribute that to a recorded heightened use of digital technology. Electricity and gas, water supply and sewerage increased as well by $64 million when compared to 2023.
Gross domestic product, calculated by the expenditure approach, indicated a real growth in the number of sectors in 2024, primarily reflected in the following components. Gross capital formation showed an increase in 2024 compared to 2023 of 21%. This was led by building and infrastructure sector with an increase of 341 million, followed by machinery and transport equipment, which grew by approximately 291 million. Exports of goods and services increased by 287 million in 2024. This sector includes the contribution of the economy by tourists, which includes both stopover and cruise visitors spending.
These numbers coming on the heels of the central bank's latest monthly report, revealing that the domestic economy grew at a tempered pace compared to 2024. Today's statistics released just as the BNSI prepared to wrap up its household expenditure survey, aimed at tracking and better understanding the spending habits of Bahamians.
As with all surveys, we do have some households that tend to not want to respond. But because it's a long and comprehensive and complex survey, we've had householders who invite us in, and then sometimes they get fatigued in answering the questions, but it's necessary. And there's also a portion of it where we ask them to keep a diary of the expenditure over the past 2 weeks. And so we leave with them a diary and we ask them to record their expenditure.
Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks, Danielle. The crisis in Haiti, relations with third states, and developments in hemispheric and multilateral bodies were some of the topics discussed at the 28th regular meeting of the Council for Foreign and Community Relations, also known as COFCOR, held over the past 2 days in St. Kitts and Nevis. The regional meeting of foreign affairs ministers examined bilateral relations with CARICOM in Canada, Cuba and the United States, border issues in Belize and Guatemala and Guyana, and Venezuela, as well as talks with representatives from Mexico, Germany, and the Philippines. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, reinforced at this evening's closing press conference the Prime Minister's message that the environment and climate change remain the #1 foreign policy issue because for 4 CARICOM countries, climate change is an existential threat. A transformed landscape continues to surface as rubble from last week's mammoth blaze is removed from properties between Elizabeth and Victoria Avenues. And as surrounding businesses attempt to return to normal operations, our Lloyd Allen returned to the area where local heavy equipment company crews are now on an uphill battle to clear the remnants of those charred structures.
It's been exactly 1 week since that massive fire which destroyed a number of buildings in the downtown area. We spoke again with Phil Strocking, who updated on their progress.
I feel as though we will be pushing forward for like a month to a month and a half tops.
The company representative says there are 3 trucks transporting around 5 loads of debris to the city dump daily. An effort he admits has been slow.
Our biggest challenge is, we don't have the roadblock off, so we got to work against traffic right now. That's our biggest problem right now.
There's a building here next to Victoria Court. That's probably one of the last buildings you're going to be getting to. What do you have to do in order to navigate to that building?
Well, there's one more building that's in the front of it where the fire originally started. Once we get to remove this building, The building that's in front of that building you're talking about, we gotta leave that down so the excavator could walk on it and move the taller building down.
We also spoke with two of the surrounding businesses to hear how they have been impacted since the May 1st blaze. How has business been since last week?
So initially following the fire, the area would have been cordoned off. So about 2 days following the incident, we had difficulty coming to our businesses.
The night of the fire, we were all here. We were worried about the buildings and everything getting destroyed. But as you see, our building has a steel roof. So most likely that protected most of the buildings further down.
Both Baja Amazing and Huffers feel business is slowly returning.
We had a fire sale for 30% off, and we did pretty good on Saturday because the roads were closed. No one would be coming down Bay Street.
A lot of our customer base is also the workers in this area. A lot of them, they are off on another island, so that was not necessarily affected. But yeah, the tourist customer base had been affected for a while, but it is recovering now that the area is no longer cordoned off.
Meantime, police are continuing with their investigations into the cause of this massive fire. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen. Lloyd Allen.
Thanks, Lloyd. Social Services stands at the ready to assist those displaced in any of these recent fires across the country. Minister Miles LaRota yesterday reminded that the Department of Social Services provides an array of services to those in need of help. The Social Services Minister maintains that while help is available, no displaced resident from any of these fires has come forward seeking it.
If any of those who are affected by the recent fires, because there's been quite a few, I'd ask the public to present themselves to the Department of Social Services and request the assistance that they may require.
From the crime beat, the hunt is on tonight for the masked gunman who reportedly killed a 40-year-old man in front of a motor yard on All Saints Way, Golden Isles Road. Investigating officers found the victim's body riddled with bullet wounds. Police officers discovered the unresponsive male with gunshot wounds on the scene.
Our investigators came on scene and they started their probing into this matter. What we have learned from our preliminary investigation is that the victim was seated in the yard of an establishment in this area. Two males, masked, on a moped pulled up. One of those males came off the moped and opened fire on the victim, fatally wounding this male, who appears to be in his 40s. We're asking anyone with any information into this matter to please contact the police so that they can assist us in this investigation.
Still to come, BPL celebrating mothers in a very special way. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in just a moment.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
The 45th anniversary of the sinking of the HMBS Flamingo is tomorrow, May 10th. It's the tragedy involving 4 Defense Force Marines, Able Seaman Fenric Starup, Marine Seaman Austin Rudolph Smith, Marine Seaman David Allison Tucker, and Marine Seaman Edward Arnold Williams, who lost their lives after their ship was attacked by Cubans in Bahamian waters. The incident occurred after the HMBS Flamingo had arrested 2 Cuban fishing vessels near the Ragged Island chain. According to National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, the 4 will be remembered at 2 sites tomorrow.
The Flamingo incident was a defining moment for the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, its purpose and its mission. That is to be commemorated on Saturday with wreath layings at the Cenotaph in the city of Nassau and at the Flamingo Memorial on board HMBS Coral Harbor. It is poignant that the memorial and the commemoration is on Saturday and Mother's Day is on Sunday because the young men were lost on Mother's Day.
Minister Monroe contends having a son on the Defense Force is a real reminder of the risk officers take when deployed, but wants all Bahamians to remember the bravery of those men who gave their lives for their country.
And they go out, and you know that they're going on patrol, there's always an expectation that they will come back at the end of that patrol. And the fact that these 4 men did not is something that has defined the Royal Bahamas Defense Force as what it is, a military force. And so when we give them missions, as we do every day to protect the sovereignty of this country, as we've done over the last 6 months, to participate in the multinational security effort in Haiti, seeking to bring stability to that country, we do so with the understanding that they are our only military organization, that they are committed to the mission, and that they always excel when it comes to that.
And tonight, Lloyd Allen features one of the HMBS Flamingo officers who reflects on life before May 10th, 1980.
This year, one survivor telling the story of many of the men that survived on board that vessel.
The one I really can remember was Tucker. Tucker he used to have a party in the boat about every night. I mean, I say party, I mean just talking foolishness. And, you know, those guys were just full of life.
Retired Force Chief Petty Officer Gregory Curry takes a walk down memory lane to 1978, when he was first transferred from the Royal Bahamas Police Force to becoming a part of the Technical Entry Squad and assigned as an engineer on the HMBS Flamingo.
Now, we weren't really thinking about becoming a Defense Force officers. We just thought we were police officers. And then after a while, they explained to us that we were directly imported into the police force to eventually become the first set of seasoned Marines.
Curry explains his first introduction to the vessel was a little unusual.
The boat was in 2 pieces. The hull was in the water, and the rest of the boat was on the side, not being connected together as yet.
He says once the assembly was complete, there were a number of voyages made, which included visits to England.
We would find a way to go to the little city of Piccadilly. That's an area. That's like downtown Nassau. That's where all the action was.
And as for his duties,
I'm actually an electrical engineer. All right, responsible for all the generators and the engine starters and everything electrical on the craft. And I surprisingly enough, I was also responsible for the maintenance of the big 20mm on the bow of the boat. I said, what? I'm not an armory man. I could shoot a gun, yeah, but not this big giant thing. What it's all about?
In our next report, we go back to May 10th, 1980, when the first shots from the Cubans were fired, reshaping the Royal Bahamas Defense Force forever. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Thanks, Lloyd. Mother's Day is celebrated annually on the second Sunday in May worldwide. But have you ever stopped to wonder how individuals whose mothers are no longer physically here are coping? Our LaDawn Davis is one of them. She spoke with a clinical psychologist to find out how to get through the pain of losing a mother.
For 98% of the people grieving the loss of a mother, celebrating Mother's Day is not something we look forward to. According to clinical psychologist Dr. Wayne Thompson, it could take years and even decades before we enter into a setting to celebrate motherhood.
Persons get stuck. I have seen a tremendous amount of prolonged grief disorder where persons could be stuck 10, 15, 20 plus years. And if persons get stuck for that length of time, it will begin to compromise their mental health, their processing, their thinking, even their interactions with persons that they love.
The veteran clinical psychologist claims over the years he's seen many individuals visit the burial site of their deceased mother and use it as a form of self-medication. However, he recommends that it's not a wise step and could only prolong the grieving process.
What would be best is for you to find ways to commemorate and celebrate your mother. Through what? What was Mommy's favorite snack? What was Mommy's favorite dish? And so there needs to be select times when you will have those snacks and have those dishes to celebrate and remember Mom.
But there are some who feel that mourners are spoilers of a good time and should get over their loss. Dr. Thompson says his statement is reckless and insensitive, as grief is not only tender, but something you just don't toss out like old furniture.
It is disrespectful to say that to someone. When you would have experienced pain and suffering, you will then come to understand it's not as simple as that. But I have concluded we say that to people because we are so detached from being in the moments with people, it makes us uncomfortable to see someone like that.
On the flip side of things, Dr. Thompson says mourners are only looking for support and comfort to help them pick up the pieces of their broken hearts.
It wasn't business as usual at Bahamas Power and Light's Blue Hill Road headquarters yesterday as female staff turned heads with their elegant fascinators, each one a tribute to the strength and grace of motherhood. Organizer of this pre-Mother's Day treat, Jasmine Roma-Roll, boasts that this hats off to moms is more than a fashion statement.
Sometimes people just need to have a moment to feel special, feel like I'm that girl. We wanted to be able to just, put smiles on people's faces, have some fun, get a little break in the middle of your workday, and just shout out all the moms and honor everybody, every mother figure, goddies, aunties, Grammys, all of them in our lives.
While participation was voluntary and enthusiasm was high, over 35 female employees and even a male employee participated in a fashion show competition celebrating unity, femininity, and pride in being a mother or supporting those mothers close to them. BPL employee Maya Newman says it made her feel seen in a way that goes beyond cards or flowers.
I think a gesture like this is really important to acknowledge the mothers and show appreciation to them. Mothers, we have a lot going on every day, and working moms, that's a whole other field that, is very taxing, but it's good to come to work and be able to be recognized and show this appreciation.
Amajal Knowles has a look at what's coming up in sports tonight. Amajal?
And Buddy and the Warriors hoping to take a commanding 2-zip series lead. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Bahamas Tonight Group of companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overall action goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching our young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Welcome to your TGIF Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Buddy Hield and the Golden State Warriors hoping to take a commanding 2-zip series lead last night. Their second-round series against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Buddy with another strong performance, pouring in 15 points in 29 minutes, going 4 of 9 from 3. But unfortunately, it would not be enough. Golden State lacking some firepower due to the absence of star guard Stephen Curry, who was out nursing a hamstring injury. The Dubs would fall 117-93, and the Wolves would tie things up at 1 game apiece. The series now shifts and heads west for Game 3 in Golden State. The game is scheduled for Saturday at 8:30 p.m. The Providence Softball Association set to swing their way into a new season, but not without a new elected body. The association recently holding its election of officers. Our Swanson Gibson Jr. tells us more.
The New Providence Softball Association recently appointed its new president, Adi Finley, as well as a supporting executive board to aid in operations. The newly appointed personnel discussed the inspiration to run for their respective positions and immediate plans.
Well, based on the love for the game and also with the council members pushing me that they would like for me to take that post because they see that I have that love for the game. So with that being in mind, I couldn't step back by not doing the duties.
What are some of your immediate plans?
Immediate plans is to lift softball. Softball needs to be rejuvenated to the level that we once was. It may take some time, but at the end of the day, we have to start now. We have a couple new initiatives that we are presenting to the league, and hopefully with that being started, that will be a step forward to new development.
We hope to bring discipline back to the park. You can't expect to bring young parents, children in the ballpark, and the players, you can't control your players. That has to start from the top. And if we get that under wraps, then we're going to have a very good league this year.
Finley discussed getting the ball rolling with a preseason beginning next weekend.
Yes, we have already been sitting with the council members, and we have decided 2 weeks preseason. Coming this 17, we will start a preseason where players could come out to the park. I know they've been practicing with their teams, but right now we want to get them into game mode. And we're looking at an open date of the 31st of May, where regular season games will begin. And with the preseason games, that should bring us in a much smoother process to start the regular season.
Then PSA, already getting things in motion for significant change. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I'm Swanson Gibson Jr.
Women professional baseball player Jazz Chisholm Jr. could be back a lot sooner than his initial prognosis. This according to New York Yankees manager Aaron Boone. Yankees star second baseman suffered a high-grade oblique strain a little over a week ago, was initially predicted to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Now the injury came after a swing in a game against the Baltimore Orioles. Chisholm finished the at-bat in which he got injured, laced a double down the right field side and scooted to third on an error before being pulled for a pinch runner. Since then, he has missed the Yankees' last 7 games. Now, Chisholm has yet to play a full season in the majors, but had his healthiest season of a 6-year career in 2024. Chisholm played a career-high 147 games, putting time between the Miami Marlins and the Yankees. And a Family Island athlete set to achieve one of her biggest goals. Daryl Saunders, a volleyball player for Agape Christian School in Abaco, recently signing with Warner University in Florida. Saunders is a libero and defensive specialist and will enter the program this fall. Warner's women's volleyball team competes in the NAIA. And that's when we look at your sports on this Friday. A check on weather when we return.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new room?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
It's time now for a weather check with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Royston. Once again, dry conditions around the 700 Islands, but that will be short-lived. The reason being we have some showers developing in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's heading towards the east, and computer models are all suggesting that that will get into the northwest Bahamas sometime on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So until then, we'll have to contend with the dry weather conditions. And our temperatures around the Family Islands, Marshall, Abaco at 76, Green Tool, Key, and Freeport, Grand Bahama reporting 78, 78 also in the Berry Islands. Allenstown, Bimini, a little warmer at 82 degrees, 79 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros, Camp Space on Andros, Black Point, Exuma at 80 degrees, 78 over there in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 77 degrees, 76 in Ragged Island. Clarence Island, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, McWarner, and Acklands, they have 78 degrees. Matthew Town and Agua at 81, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And your forecast tonight, we're looking at mainly clear skies, low temperature around 73 degrees. And tomorrow, it's going to be breezy in the morning, otherwise partly sunny and quite pleasant. High temperature, 84 degrees, with a moderate breeze taking place. And then as we look for the next 7 days, it's going to be quite nice through the weekend with those winds picking up. But come Monday, we'll have some isolated showers in the afternoon, become a bit more scattered as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, where we'll have most of the heavy showers, though, will be around the extreme northern Bahamas, that is Bimini, Grand Bahama, and the Abacos. But we'll certainly get some showers here in the capital as well on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Temperature-wise, I got to start climbing, getting into the upper 80s as we head into midweek, and those temperatures are going to be pretty hot. And when we put that relative humidity with all that moisture moving in, those heat indexes are going to be in the low 90s. Right.
Thanks, Basil. Just before we close, I want to wish a very happy birthday to Olivia Rancy, who will be celebrating her birthday in less than an hour. I hope you see many more and enjoy your very special day. That's going to do it for the Bahamas Tonight at 11. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Be sure to tune into the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition with Desmond Saunders. And of course, in advance, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for watching as always, and good night.
At the Office of the Prime Minister, I'm Devontae Hanna. This is ZNS.
You can ring my bell. What's up, luscious lavender?
Can I check in, please?
Oh, I ain't mad at you. Oh, man, I did not know the angels could fly so low. Are you here for the wedding?
I guess you could say that. Fancy? Janine? Hey, girl. Oh, girl. Look at you. Oh.
We sure did you justice. You look great.
Oh, I see. Law school, I see. All right, Susan Shapiro. Bonnie Cochran in the house. Hey, look here, you know, I got some briefs over here that may need looking at if you got some time.
Jamie, I don't think so. This is Janine, the bride-to-be. She's getting married tomorrow.
That's right. And according to my chart, Sagittarius is in the house. And that means that tomorrow is the perfect day for matrimony.
Is that right?
That's right.
Well, hey, I don't know which my sign is. But I tell you what, when you do get married, make sure you throw the flowers to Fancy so when you're on your honeymoon, I could toss her bouquet. You can check out my